All right, what's up, everybody? I know that you're sitting around waiting for that unlock button to drop away from the battle thing on Go Battle League, but while we do, I figure why don't we talk a little bit about what we learned today, what we're hoping happens with Go Battle League, and maybe give you some ideas about how to conquer the metagame here at the end. If you haven't checked in before, my name is Ken or Alf. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch, and I'm trying to make a YouTube video. I'm not very good at editing, so we're going to do this thing in one take, and that's probably going to be a disaster. I hope you're ready for that. But yeah, why don't we dive in and see what we learned with this new system that we're all patiently waiting for. So we get a preseason. That's what's launching supposedly today. We're going to get 2 weeks of Great League, 2 weeks of Ultra League, and 2 weeks of Master League battles starting with Great League. As best we can tell, these are going to be blind battles, which means that if you haven't really invested yet, you can probably cut down the costs a little bit by just picking a solid 3 Pokemon and going from there. Here's where things get interesting. So they've finally given us more information about how this is going to work, how the unlocks are going to work. And it looks like that you've got to walk 5 kilometers to unlock up to 5 battles, and they have updated this that you can stack up to 2 charges, so essentially 10 kilometers for 10 battles, either paid or premium. It doesn't matter if you're paying for it or not, you're gonna have to walk. I'm a little bit worried about this. I don't know how frequently you walk 5 kilometers a day while playing Pokemon Go. Maybe you're one of those folks who does, but this is a pretty high barrier of entry to get your battles in each day. And I'm worried that this is going to turn off some folks. Now, luckily, these first battles we get are going to be free. You're going to get a taste of it without having to do any of that. But I do have some concerns that this is going to turn off a lot of players who really aren't going to be able to get their battles in every day. Now, luckily, it looks like, you know, maybe you battle every other day by walking 2 kilometers. Maybe you do pay to play. You can walk 2 and then pay for the rest. Either way, this is a big concern for me, just because we've seen a look at the rewards, and they're decent, but they're not insane. And if we want to attract players who aren't already PvPing, I feel like either the rewards have to be really high or the barrier for entry has to be really low. And right now, I think we're in kind of an awkward middle ground for both. We did get a peek, and it is kind of cool as we scroll down here that we can now use those premium raid passes as battle passes. I know a lot of us are sitting on a lot of raid passes because they haven't really given us much exciting to raid. But that's going to be pretty cool, and I'm really excited about that. We're still kind of in the rampant speculation land, and that's where we are right now. I would really love to learn more, and I can't wait to start getting battles on. But right now it looks like in the preseason alone, we're looking at blind, best of 1 Great League battles, which is going to make for some interesting metagame stuff happening. You're going to see a lot of the same stuff because you're going to have to bring something that's safe across the entire meta, something with good matchups the whole way. And I worry a little bit that a lot of newer players are going to run into, let's call it Altaria, Azumarill, Registeel, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we're going to just see that team everywhere. And if you are deviating from the norm, you may be in real trouble. If you throw a Breloom or something on your team, you're just going to be real upset. Actually, Breloom would be pretty good, but that's neither here nor there. We're doing this in one take. Don't mind us when we come up with bad examples off the top of our head. But it could get pretty stale pretty fast. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. In the long term, right now it doesn't really look like this is competing directly with anything that Sylph is doing. That this could be extremely complementary. Now, if they start to get into a world where they're doing metagames and they're doing limited viability, you're going to start competing for resources, and I'm not super sure how that's going to go. But right now, I think we're all just hoping that this is a smooth launch. We'll see how that goes. It's Niantic, who knows? But that it's smooth, it gets people engaged with Pokemon Go PvP, and maybe it's a jumping off point for something like a Sylph Cup, which I think offers a bit more exciting experience for people playing. Let's talk about that team, though. So we've already sort of talked about Registeel, Altaria, and Azumarill as being the gold standard team. I think that's the team that most players will be looking at bringing or something similar to that. Um, what I wanted to do to sort of wrap this bad boy up was to talk about a couple Pokemon that do very well against that team, but also why that team is so good. So one of the things that's interesting about that team is that the best counters to that team are actually already on the team. Azumarill is quite good against that team, as is Registeel. Um, so you're bringing a team that not only has a great sort of coverage against the meta, but also does well against that meta team. What you can do, though, there's a couple Pokemon I wanted to highlight specifically that you may already have that do particularly well against some of those Pokemon. It might be worth making an adjustment or a swap. Say you don't have a Registeel or you don't want to invest in an Azumarill, which that should be the one you invest in. That's not the one to leave off. Altaria, Registeel, probably your flex. So the three Pokemon I really wanted to highlight, actually, we'll call it four, because one of them is a little special to my heart. The first is Melmetal, who has a great set of matchups across all of that. Really, Melmetal's only concern is an Azumarill packing Hydro Pump, which I don't even think is going to be necessarily the common set. But Melmetal does great against those. It's another real expensive pick, but I think if you swap out the Registeel for a Melmetal, if you've already got one made, that's not a bad choice. The other Pokemon that's a little bit more budget friendly that performs really well is actually Whiscash. Whiscash has obviously a great matchup against Registeel. It plays Azumarill extremely close by just spamming Mud Bombs. And obviously you can beat an Altaria with Shields Down. Ends up being a really common, a really easy to find safe pick there. The other two kind of live in the same place as far as what they do. One of them is a Alolan Raichu, which again has a great matchup against two of the three. It doesn't do great against Altaria, but you can definitely put up a fight and you can definitely kill an Altaria with a Wild Charge. I do want to throw this out there, though. You're probably just wanting to throw out the default Thunder Shock, Thunder Punch, Wild Charge set. Don't get fancy with the coverage moves. I think that sort of defeats what you're planning to do. But my spice pick, the one that I'm most interested in bringing, is actually Jirachi. Jirachi does a lot of the same things that Alolan Raichu does. But it has Doom Desire, which is largely unresisted as a Steel-type move. Extremely high DP, extremely fast firing. And I think Jirachi, while it doesn't cleanly beat the others, it has really good matchups across the board using just Confusion and Doom Desire. So if you've got one, try it out. I think it'll put a lot of pressure on opponents, and most people haven't played against it much. So even more veteran players may not respect the amount of damage that Doom Desire does. Even against something that resists it like a Whiscash. So those are my sort of spice picks. I think those are things that you could absolutely pepper in. Now, most of those are not budget picks, as I think three of them require 100,000, or two of them are 100,000 Stardust moves, so they're not exactly budget friendly. But they are fun to use and they will be different. I think Go Battle League looks really exciting. I'm just sitting here jamming on my phone, waiting for the stupid thing to be available. So hopefully that'll be soon, and we'll get some battles up here for you. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit that like, subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what Pokemon you are excited about to try out in Go Battle League. Do you have a team that you think breaks up that metagame really good? What are you going to be bringing? And as a reminder, we stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so hopefully we'll see you there for some live battles. Thanks for tuning in and enjoying this single-take, non-edited YouTube video where we talk about Go Battle League. I hope you learned something, and I will see you next time. Cheers.